Alright. So we've beaten it, but we had to be clairvoyant to do so. Let's try to beat it in a way that I wouldn't be clairvoyant. So I know ring 1 stays the same. We'll check our logic here. So we know from our starting deck that it's abysmal for ring 1. There's no damage. There's no scaling. There's just nothing. So we really can't go conduit. Conduit cannot get through ring 1 here. We have to be able to have the option. Now, Conduit probably gets through knowing that it's Heaven's Priest, but at this point we don't know that it's Heaven's Priest. It could just as easily be the other, there's 2 of these 4 rings. Have a backliner that is coupled with the boss, and if we can't kill that, the Sweeper's the only way we do that. We would be dead in the water, ring 1, so we have to go Sweeper. Now here we could get a measly 3 extra health to our champ, which is maybe worth it, but I gotta imagine just the 1 time 30 is gonna be better ring 1 wise that we get from Urchin Spines here. And also future potential picks, and I don't think we take this because, as I said, any sharded, because it's Heaven's Priest, we could probably maybe make it work, but we don't know that it's Heaven's Priest. Now we know it's Heaven's Priests. We know that 10 armor really isn't going to be that huge of a difference here, so what we're going to do is take that. And then once that unit draft happens, that's where I really need to start analyzing things. I think we do these plays the same, so the reason we play out the units is because we want to play out the units as fast as we can, that way we don't cycle back into them. They also represent just the same amount of damage, essentially, as playing the spears at a turn. Plus, I'd rather hit the spears when they already have spell weakness on them. We put a drag up here because we want to hit the spell weakness while we have it, and then we can put these dregs here because they don't really fit anywhere else. We saved the Urchin Spines. We have the option of playing it, but we probably feel that it is just better against the boss than it is against these waves that don't really represent that much damage to the pyre. And it is worth noting, essentially all the trial did is it cost us 5 pyre damage, assuming we don't kill that. Which I don't think we do, but we'll see. I honestly don't remember. We do a drag there, that way we can kill that. We could also... yeah, it's fine. And then we do this. We don't Offering Token because there's really no reason to draw through this deck at this point. At least right now. We'd better off just actually getting damage in. We get the most damage to the boss by doing this. And then we do this so that we can at least kill that unit and mitigate 2 damage. There's the 5 that we take from the trial, essentially. We put that there, we use this to get rid of the weight, and we get a hit in. We're never going to get better than that. We do this to get rid of the weight, we Urchin Spines, and that's really all we can do. We take another 5. That much is pretty standard. Now we have a choice. So in the run that I won, I didn't take these because I knew they just weren't going to be conducive to the plan that I clairvoyantly knew I was going for. Now, let's assume I'm not clairvoyant. Do I need these? I mean, I gotta imagine when I see that I have an Urchin Spines, when I see that I have Spell Weakness Tethys, I have to imagine this Helical, Crystallis, or Mollusk Mage look pretty enticing. The Flash Freeze is less so, but it is a way to kill backliners, so even the Flash Freeze isn't necessarily out of the question. I don't see a world where I just skip these straight up, like I did when I won. So I think we really have to take one here. I don't see myself not knowing the rest of the run, just saying, oh yeah, I'll skip these. I think... we know we're getting a unit draft. We know that we are almost certainly heading this remnant banner up unless the unit is just good on its own. the Mollusk Mage, so the Crystal S is one out of our 20, 3 to 24 cards that will hit big. But it will hit big these first few rings. Whereas the Mollusk Mage, if I can fit it on the floor and make it survive, makes all of these Frozen Lances decent. Not great, but decent. I mean, they're now doing 16. If I have this on a floor above Tethys, those will hit for, 32 damage. It's okay. But this would hit for 100. The one time I get it, though. I just don't know here. I have the offering tokens, so I do technically, you could almost think of it as a 20 card deck. Those just get played for free essentially, and then maybe I can cycle through Helical Crystallis enough that I can take it. I think I take the Crystallis here. I don't see myself ever taking a Mollusk Mage there. Now, I've always been taking Drippings here. Even when I didn't have the knowledge, it was just a free 30 damage, and it enabled potential, burnout extension synergies. I think maybe I tried Molten Encasement as well, but it's like, I don't know. I think you already have 2, so do you really need another? Probably not. And then Draft. Hard for me to really say I would ever take a Draft here when I don't have any Reform or Burnout Extenders yet. You can maybe make the argument that you're likely to find Extension or Reform Ring 2 reward. Even Extension isn't necessarily enough to justify a Draft, though. Like, I feel like without, like, Lady of the Reformed or just Reform, Draft is untakeable. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong on that. I mean, it's a good infusion into, like, Lady of the House, but again, if I take that and I never find Extension, maybe there's enough Extension in Melting Remnant that you just bank on getting it. I mean, if you think about it. So say I take Draft here. There are, in the Melting Remnant arsenal, at the commons here, you got 1, 2, 3. 3 out of the 8s are burnout extensions, and then 1 out of the 8 is reformed. So out of 3 cards offered, you roughly get a 50-50 at each. You'd have to lose 3 50-50s to not hit on any of these. Odds are in your favor that you get support for Draft. Or at least, at the very least, you get support for Draft being infused into something. And there's also the fact that, later the Reform exists. There's also, later on, Waxen Spike. Right there. There's Wickless Recruitment. I don't know. There's Hallowed Halls. There's... I guess Sacred Wicks, not really. I find Sacred Wicks pretty tough to take with drafts or dregs, because you have to remove so much of your deck for those to really be consistent. It's weird, like that's why I never really liked it in vanilla. It's great when you're exiled, though. It's a bit redundant, but it can be pretty good. And what else? There was one other card I was thinking of. Oh yeah, Wicked Blaze. We could get that reform, which would be good. We obviously know we do get that eventually. But I don't know that now. So Lady of the House and Lady of the Reformed are the good targets to infuse into, because they're the banners that have natural burnout. You could also argue Paraffin Enforcer into Draft gives you 3 initial burnout, which is decent. It's not a priority unit, but after you cycle through your deck and you play it, you can probably hit your burnout extension. So I am kind of wondering if, because Draft is so powerful, Like, I know I've been taking Hallowed Drippings, but what if I just took Draft? I know, here's the problem. In the back of my mind, I know that taking it is gonna be a miss, because it's a miss for Ring 2, shall we say. Beyond that, I know that I have the Purifying Cleanse, so it's like usable after that, but I know that I don't find any burnout units here. It's Paraffin Enforcer and Wickless Baron. Really trying to think of this, though, from the non-clairvoyance perspective. I know that I took Hallowed Drippings on my first playthrough, so I know that that's kind of the default here, I feel. With Trader's Quill, it doesn't help much other than Trader's Quill at the moment, though. So any one of these three doesn't help me at the moment. I don't think I'd ever skip, though. I think I'd always take Hallowed Drippings. It's pretty low cost. Like, if anything, it's a 0 cost consume that does 30 damage. And then it enables future burnouts. So I really feel like Hallowed Drippings is always takeable here. I just don't know if Draft is maybe the stronger pick. Let's try Draft out. We haven't really tried that. Now here, I know that none of them are good with Draft. I think we've made the determination that Incant is not the way to go with Dregs, I feel. Just too hard with a deck of so few spells to really get Incant going. Maybe with Offering Tokens, though, it's a little more takeable. I don't know, though. I also just don't really think Nameless Siren is that good going into Ring 2. I could take Titan Sentry. As we've already said, though, clairvoyantly we know there's no Endless. Unclairvoyantly, if we plan on trying to find Endless, it would go to Molten Casement almost certainly instead of Titan Sentry. So you can't really... You're already kind of missing out on one of the better, the best path for Titan Sentry. Titan Sentry, though, does fill that tank role. And if you look at... We got a Remnant Banner coming up. So it could be... Could we get a situation where they're not tanky? Well, it could be Bounty Stalker is one of them, and Paraffin Thug is the other. That's two pretty untanky units, right? So we would want the tank in that case. Even Wickless Baron doesn't start out with much health. And we know that it is these two. I could take Cold Kalia. See, the problem here is I think I could justify Cold Kalia more if I had taken the Hallowed Drippings, because then I'm looking ahead and I'm seeing Remnant Banner and I'm like, the high roll here, because we know it's a win. If you can get the Burnout Extension and Paraffin Enforcer, it's a win with Sweepers. It's just a very strong play. And then, if we look back at the logbook, we're going to really dig in deep here, because I have to iron out this combo. This combo is my weakest combo by far, and this is a perfect run to be ironing it out, because it's just kind of a nightmare of a seed, I feel, at least for me. Go back to units, go to essences, so if I take the sweeper, usually you'd want to keep the sweeper and infuse something into it. When I look at all of these, we obviously have the draft that's not going to work right now. We have no support for that. We could take a Lady of the Reformed if it came, and then we can have support for the draft, kind of. We'd have to basically not play it the first turn that we see it. If a Lady of the Reformed isn't already there. What else? Wickless Baron should be good. Big Sludge should be good. Paraffin Thug, you could argue, is okay. I wouldn't say that if you go that route, it's really your carry necessarily, but if you put Quick on it, it'll kill most things, especially early game, and get you a pretty good amount of gold. Then obviously Paraffin Enforcer is the highest role, I would say. Given that I took draft, what would I do here? Well, I feel like there's enough stuff for Cold Kalia that I could just still justify it. So we checked that. We see that there's a Quick. We know that's good with Cold Kalia. We see there's a health. We could probably just take that with Cold Kalia. We see the Wickless Baron. We see the Paraffin Thug. I say that I would take this, and I say I just don't think I would wait on the infusion here. I feel like I would just go in on this, because in my eyes I'm like, well, I could get a Molten Encasement on Endless, I have Dregs, I have all this Harvest synergy. I would just think I would make this just, you know, straight up. Now here's the problem, I don't know that I would take Quick here, because in my eyes, between hitting on Reform and hitting on Endless, or even the Endless Tome, to me it's so likely that I would find a way to bring back Molten Encasement that I would be holding out for other upgrades on her. Do I even put that on anything? I don't even know if I need that. Piercing, it's like, part of the advantage of this is that it breaks through like spell shields and damage shields. I could probably just not take any more shards, since I do still feel weakness in the deck, and 25 shards is already something. Do we take an incant upgrade here, or do we just take initial health? Or would, like, we have two incredible $25 upgrades here. And as I said, we know Quick is good on sweepers, but in this particular scenario, like I said, there's not only are we likely to have found some way to keep these Molten Encasements cycling, it also is like not in our best interest to hit before friendly units die, because then I get more damage after they die, so I can deal more damage. So Quick is like, to me, I just don't think I would take it, even though I know it would be good clairvoyantly. I just don't think at this moment I would say that I would take it. I also don't think I reroll here preemptively to try to, I don't even think, I'm trying to think, 90 gold isn't even possible, right? 95 is the lowest for a unit. So it's out of the question really to reroll here. I think we see good upgrades here. I have to imagine though, Incant gain armor 2, I'd have to play it roughly, 12.5 times to match Heartstone. I think I'd rather just have Heartstone. So we can lock that in now. And maybe purge a card. Since I do believe I would look ahead, I don't know that I would go this route. I see a free artifact here. I see a potentially good unit here. You never know. You might get something. So I think we do remove. I also don't know that I'm getting the divine artifact of Steward, so I think I remove a Steward here. Or do I remove a Lance? I don't know. I feel like in my eyes, I have a Tethys spell weakness, which isn't that good. I also have an Urchin Spines. To me, I'm like, I'd almost want to keep these just to get some value out of them. And the Stewards aren't the best for Harvest synergy anyway, so I feel like I remove it here. And then I think we just keep going. Oh, we got somebody playing it right now. Now here, extra damage. Would I take that? I did add the extra health. I have a Crystallis. I'm at 25 shards. I don't know if I could justify... It's a unit draft. By the way, even though this is somewhat of a cursed seed, it's also a blessed seed in the fact that you rarely see double unit draft, so it's good in that regard. I think we would take it. We have backline clear. We have a beefy, pretty good unit that should scale decently. Now the only thing I'm wondering is, do I go down here since I see like I can make a pretty good play here? Like I could just sacrifice Tethys. That's a free harvest. I can do this, I can do that for a harvest. I think that's a good play. We can just let that thing hit us if it needs to. Don't think we want to take that damage. We could do this just to get that. Do we save this for the boss? Because I could kill this thing. I think we do this for the harvest. Like, we might as well try to kill this thing. Alright, that thing dies. We could do that to not get Ember drained. We could just leave one in case we get the Molten Encasement here. Let's see what we're getting here, actually. Yeah, okay, let's do... I think I just want more harvest, so let's leave open that possibility. And we don't have any incants, so whatever there. Alright, so we do get that. We just want to get the max harvests here. And look, that does it. Okay. Well, that's pretty powerful so far. Now, I don't know that we take these. I think we really try to just make a good harvest deck at this point. And I don't know how we ever justify spending the money on this. We also don't know if Conduit's ever going to be offered. Ice Tornado could be good, though. I mean, it's permafrosted, so at least it doesn't redraw if you can't play it. I do technically have the spell weakness. I just don't know how often I'm actually applying that. I guess it just depends on how much I would plan on Tethys being a part of the game plan. My internet sucks, dude. This is why I can't stream anymore, unfortunately. I'm gonna have to move because Comcast is so fucking bad and there's just no other ISP in my area. Ice Tornado. Ice Tornado. Any reason to take it? The more I take it, the more I gotta draw through for other stuff. I know I'm not high on this card in general. I believe it's pretty, you know, it's one of those cards that really loses all of its value by the time the Divinity fight comes around, in my opinion. So it'd be a card I'm taking just to get through the game right now. I think after I saw how much I just wrecked that ring 2 there, I don't feel that desperate, I feel like I'm in a somewhat strong position and I don't need to take mediocre cards just to get through the game. So I think I skip here. Okay, now here's an interesting call, because it's like, I do see this burnout extension, which could enable Draff. As it stands, Draff at least is just some little 1-pip unit I could feed a Harvest with, and every now and then get an extra 20 damage. It's not the worst thing in the world at the moment. It's essentially an attuned explosive that isn't as good as an attuned explosive. But for a lot of, purposes, it's really an attuned explosive. Attuned explosive is better, obviously, but it's not, like, massively better. So I'm already getting some value out of Draff. I don't necessarily have to try to combo it with Purifying Cleanse, which honestly, if I can't permafrost it, really isn't going to enable Draff in any meaningful way. I'm also looking ahead here, and I see that Stygian Banner is here. I also look here, and I'm like, well, yeah, there's a Remnant Banner there, but it's just not as good as this route, right? Like, there's a Hell Vent, there's a Vortex. Health if I need it, but really the Vortex and the Hell Vent are like... I would just plan on hitting this up, I feel, without any Clairvoyance. And honestly, with Clairvoyance, I probably would still, because I know that this Merchant of Steel has nothing for me. But, I think the logic is sound there. I think given that there's also Dripfall. Dripfall's a hard one for me to evaluate, but, like, I feel like at this point, I know I don't have Molded. So Molten Encasement, I'm really relying on Endless or Wicked Blaze or Remnant Pact to really make that be anything super good, right? Dripfall is redundant if I do find a way to cycle Molten Encasement on a regular basis, because I don't need the days, and I'm only taking Dripfall essentially for the days, sometime the displacement. Maybe I could take it to overstack a bunch of Wickless, like a bunch of Hell-Vented copies of this Cold Kalia. That's not completely out of the question. Like, that could be an option. At that point, I'm giving up on Molten Encasement, obviously. But I could, do something where, like, I don't know, though. That's a tough one. I would need Dripfall and Holdover, I think, if I'm going to do that. Because then I can use it to stack my units, but then pass that. Since I'm not going to have the stealth, I would need an option to stop the damage from coming in on against Divinity. I could add Quick to those units to prevent the unit damage eventually, but I would definitely need a way to stop Divinity from hitting me, especially if I'm going to set up mid or bottom. Well, I need a way anyway to stop the damage, essentially. Right now I'm thinking stealth is still viable. So Entombed Explosive gets me extra harvests. It helps kill things. I think we take this. As I said, we really are going into the game plan there. Now here's a tough one, because we know that an Entombed Explosive of Legion Wax is pretty powerful. We also know that it's going to steal a ton of harvests from us. We also know that, and like, we don't have Reform, so like Endless on it now makes it so we can't put Endless on our Molten Encasement if we wanted to do that route. We do see the Paraffin Enforcer, but we're already infused. We could do it on Draff. It's an option. But we didn't take Burnout Extension, so not really. We have no Burnout Extension, right? So, not really. We still have no tank, right? We have a Wickless Baron Cold Kalia. We have these tombs. We don't actually have a tank. We seem to really be relying on the tombs. But, if I'm planning on going here, I'm not going here to roll for Endless. I'm also wondering, like, in my plan, so much of it right now hinges on Molten Encasement. Even though I know there's no Endless here, would I still just go this route to try to roll for it? Because in my mind, I'm like, well, it's a 75% chance that I get either Multi-Strike or endless. Now, clairvoyantly, we know we hit the 25% low roll there, and it's large stone and quick. So, really trying to think. Like it's of no benefit to me if I make decisions knowing what happens, right? I'm trying to create a set of rules for myself that I could follow to actually do good in this combo. So I feel like I'm going Harvest. How would I ever justify this? Like, what would I Hellvent? What would I remove? Well, I remove spells at this point or stewards would still be fine, but probably spells. And what do I Hellvent? The Cold Kalia? I could see Hellventing the unupgraded Cold Kalia. I mean, it technically has some upgrade. It just doesn't have like the big upgrade, but I could see that being a very powerful play. You know, doubling up the stuff. I could plan on getting a pip upgrade. At any rate, I get the dregs I get 2 extra dregs, and past a certain point, even without endless stealth, you know, I get at least 4 turns of stealth. That's a lot of health saved. So I could just still Hellvent the Molten Encasement. It's like, how much do you plan on low rolls? Because 25% isn't that out of the question, right? It's just a 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4 times. If you're looking to win streak, you can't really hinge your game on a 1 out of 4 being won or whatever, right? Or rather a 1 out of 4 not being lost. Like, that's gonna happen 1 out of 4 times. If you want to win streak 32 times, maybe you just start thinking of guaranteed value type plays rather than going for these rolls, right? Because large stone really gets me nothing. Quick doesn't really get me anything. I really don't want this unit to be quick. Would quick work though? Because here's the thing, if I think that quick could get me there, then I could justify the left route. Because then I have a 100% chance to get something that's good, right? I either get quick, I either get multi-strike, or I get endless. Endless obviously in the encasement, quick or multi-strike on Cold Kalia. Honestly, I don't even know if multi-strike... I feel like I essentially get multi-strike by Hellventing it, so in a sense, I would say a Hellvented Cold Kalia, even though it'll cost me 15 shards, is better than a single multi-striking one. At least in the now, right? So I feel like if I could recognize that, how would I recognize that? Because it's now just dawning on me that that's the case, right? We could also start thinking about how much damage does that represent. So in the next few rings, when let's say I'm slaying maybe 3 a turn, that's 6 damage to each of them. So that's 12 damage flat across the board per wave. Let's say there's maybe 5-6 waves. 12 times 5, 6 is, you know, we're going to miss some harvests here and there. We're going to get some friendly harvests here and there. I think it would average out to maybe 70 or, let's say roughly 70 or 80 damage. But also about 70 or 80 health on top of the 40 health. Or on top of the 80 health, I should say, because there's 2 of them. But also, once one of them dies, the damage goes down. I feel like if I plan on double pip upgrade, this plan is sound to go this way. So I think we skip these. And I think we would still take these, even though we did just crush ring 2. I'd have to look at my deck and say, well, I only have 1 single striking Wickless Baron Cold Kalia. It is a double exploding Daedalus, which my stealth doesn't prevent. I think I would still take this. Now here, it'd be pretty damn hard for me to give up a free artifact just for spell upgrades, of which these spells really suck, honestly, for what my game plan is. So I don't think there's any world I'm going left there. Good practice, we just check this first. We see stuff that we really aren't going to take, like Spell Chain, Purge. Maybe we take Purge. We could maybe justify the Purge. So I gotta imagine we take Exploding Candle actually here. Like, that gives us so much power. You know, hyper scales our ability to harvest. And then here, we know that the incant just isn't the answer here, right? So I think we skip these. We might be enticed to Offering Monument just because Offering Monument is such a powerful card. But we look through and we see we really don't have much spells. It's not really going to do that good for us. We just want Cold Kalias guaranteed from the start. We check this. We consider Calcified Ember, because it is diligent. We know we're going to get through this next ring, because you're guaranteed to with these Super Stewards, right? Ring 4 is a question. How much value do we really get from these Calcified Embers? Potentially not much, and we almost don't care about losing these spells against Divinity, or against Diligent. It almost helps us to lose them, right? So I think we skip here. I don't really see why we'd take this. I think skipping this event is often the correct call, especially I think in this combo. I think in this combo that event really doesn't help you. Like, you're not Ember starved because everything costs low amounts, and you're not having a strong ring 4, and you're not having at least I'm not having a strong ring 4, I would have to imagine. I think I would be enticed to take this Purge. Is that wrong? Oh, we gotta think. I'm taking 15 shards at this Hellvent. I might be taking a 10 there. This Purge is tough to justify, but we also gotta think I'm taking pip upgrades. I really can't have a fat deck at all. I think we take the Purge here, but then just don't take anything else. So this fight shouldn't be hard. I wouldn't be very nervous with this Divine Artifact going into this fight, especially, and even the Exploding Candle, right? So we can just do things like this. We can chump block to our heart's content. Get as many harvests as we can. We probably even just throw this away, honestly. We don't want to cycle back into that. And we can just get the thing in while we have it. I think we do this. I guess we would rather have a fresh Steward for later. Right now we can just put 2 here to get a bunch of damage in on Daedalus and just have the top floor as a backup plan for killing the waves and just the boss. I think we want to just use the pip here for those type of units. Yeah, like, we could wait on the Steward. We could just... well, we shouldn't have done that, but whatever. Should have put that behind, but it's fine. It's a misplay, but I've made worse misplays in my time. Let's do this. We can wait on that. I could even wait on this, honestly, just so I make sure I get those slays. Can save a damage shield there. I think we'll get the extra harvest there. Do that for whatever reason. Got a lot of stats on her. Yep, and that's good enough. Alright, so expectedly, we get through that easy. I know I don't take these, obviously. Would I take Siren Song? Because Siren Song is a generally pretty powerful card. It would be an answer to Divinity. If I intrinsicked it, I could set up top. The first wave or two, which if I am setting up bottom, or even if I'm setting up top, I don't know. I don't know that it really is all that good. I still don't know. Like, even if I set up top, I want every harvest, you know? I need every harvest. That's my only scaling. Missing harvests is to throw away your win. So to me, it's like, I don't know. I don't think Siren's Song is a winning play here. Now we could take a Wickless Baron and have a dedicated tank. But I just don't think so. It's still just a single striking unit, whereas if I have... As long as I can keep these alive, I essentially have pseudo made myself multi-strike, right? So I think we don't take any units here. We commit to as much pip as possible. Eventually we may even want 3 Cold Kalias on the floor, even if it means we only have 1 pip to, you know, self-harvest with. So we know we're going this route. That was the plan. We remove, what, spells or stewards? Maybe spells. Maybe these lances. They're really not going to be that good. And do we take that? That's debatable. I know we Hellvent this. I know we do that. So I'm at 50 shards. I think it's a good practice. Let's just look ahead. This is probably more worth the shards than extra 100 gold is. I really don't have anything to spend gold on if you think about it. Like, Merchant of Magic, there's just nothing for me to spend gold. I'd also have to think, like, what am I going here? There's a Vortex here, which is great, but there's a Hellvent here and a Concealed Caverns. I could see this route. We haven't actually gone this route yet, I don't think. Maybe we just figure that out as we get to it, though. I don't know how much we can really plan ahead for either of that. Either way, I don't think we're taking this money, because we gotta think, like, we get 15 here, then we're up to 65. We get 15 there, then we're up to 80. We only need to come up with 20 shards, and we should be able to do that. If our plan is to eventually... We don't know for sure if we want 3 Cold Kalias, but that's an option, and that's 15 if we take it. And then there's just other shards we can force here if we absolutely need to. There's always, obviously, other, like... it's possible we want to infuse... Like, if we do find Endless, even though I know I won't, if I do find Endless, like, Molten Encasement, Fusion could be a thing, like with an Entombed Explosive or something. Not completely out of the question. I think, at any rate, we don't need to take this gold. Now we also have the option of Conduit. I think it's too late to really do that. I think we would just go all in on this and try to get minor amounts of value out of her. Mark of Invasion helps us, though, right? This is like free extra scaling. We would almost pay money to do this one, right? So what we want to do here is sacrifice as much as we can. If we do this, we still have space for the next Cold Kalia to come, since one is dying. And in fact, it might be in my interest to do this. This way I clear out 2 of the space. So we should do that. Oh, I thought... Are you quick? Why did... Oh, right, because of Exploding Candle. Okay, well anyway. I think we want this one in front since it does less damage. Would have been nice to have had the space for this, but we don't need it. In fact, if we're lucky, we could get another drag and get this collector. Yeah, we don't get it, but that's fine. We could just do this, get some decent damage in. Focus on the now, so we can get as much slays as possible. We want to get this slay for sure. That'll get us it. We need to definitely get some help here. Let's see what this gets us. Okay, just more stewards. So we're getting some scaling up here. we'll do that. That should get the slays there. I think we play this just while we have the Ember, and I would let these cycle back in. We kind of want every drag. I probably won't remove drags. Like, they are free harvests for my people. See, this is concerning though. If I'm not able to kill a tank like this, it's concerning. I think we can put the both of these here. And we don't really need to do this. It doesn't really gain us anything. 27. Yeah, let's just not do it. So we're going to take some big damage here. It's a lot of damage. But it probably reinforces us. Let's see, do we want to do... Okay, if that kills them, we just let that happen. We should do this. I should try to get both of these slays up for up top. So, with any luck, we can get that drag for an extra harvest up here. Our deck is down to like 8 cards at this point. So we know we'll for sure get the drag next turn. Knowing that, I think I would just not play this offering token then. We could put this here. We're gonna get extra damage for what that's worth, and then that's enough. Alright, so we're barely getting it done there. It's not... At this point, I have to imagine I'm like, well, I don't feel very powerful. I took 48 damage there, and I did everything I could, right? So I'd have to imagine gifts is... I don't know. Probably not happening. What about Drain and Frenzied Swarm? Drain is a card that I probably don't value high enough. It's certainly decent to apply SAP 3. I just don't really think I would take it over Frenzied Swarm. True, Frenzied Swarm is redundant with Molten Encasement, but we don't have Reform. We don't even know if we're getting Endless. We even look ahead and we're like, well, we got maybe, you know, a few Merchant of Steels we might be able to hit, but like, with all the money I have, maybe I would want the trinkets and a free artifacts, so that wouldn't happen, so maybe that happens. I see the Hellvent here. I start getting worried that I ever will find a tomb. Am I being honest with myself, though? Am I being honest with myself right now? Like, would I actually be thinking that I'm just never going to find Endless on these tombs? I feel like in my mind, I would be like, yeah, I'll find it. So that's like a problem that I can't solve right now, but I know that's like a restructuring of my game that I need to make. I need to account more for not hitting those things. Like, I need to account more for the low rolls. So planning for the low roll, Frenzied Swarm is probably the take here, right? In that scenario, it is not redundant with stealth. It is my answer to survival. In a way, it's scaling too, because I have no heal, right? It just prevents damage. Now this is a very interesting one. You got all 3 cards I could see justifications for. Sacred Wicks would give me an incredible target for Consume Remove. And I'm really hating the fact that I know there is a Consume Remove right now, because I know that that would be incredible in this deck to get a Consume Remove Sacred Wicks. Even if it's just drags and drafts coming back, but the higher, you know, I could even just make it so Molten Encasements are coming back every turn. But again, plan for low rolls. What is the low roll here? That, because I could see justifications for going this route right now, because at this point I really have nothing to Hellvent. Like, I'd rather wait to try to get an upgrade on these before I Hellvent them again. I like the fact that I have 2 extra pip to just feed them with stuff. And then I see the Merchant of Magic and I'm like, well, there is holdover I could hit on Frenzied Swarm. At that point I don't really need these Molten Casements. You could argue, though, that it really hurts my self-harvest. So maybe that's not even the best plan, but it is a plan. Granted, they burn out, which is great. I would just probably have to remove the tombs or try to find, you know, burnout upgrades on them. Let's see. So Mortal Entrapment might be better than Frenzied Swarm because I still get my self-harvests, but I can stop Divinity from hitting me. I could also... I do know that my deck got down to like 8 size by the time I cycled through it. At that point, I could hit Mortal Entrapment pretty often, and that would be an answer to Diligent. That would be an answer to Divinity. I'm almost wondering if Mortal Entrapment is what I do. I don't need Holdover actually on anything, come to think of it. But I could take it. I could get Holdover in that. Consume Remove. See, if I take Sacred Wicks, it gives... If I plan on going here, it gives me more outs, right? Like, I could probably care less if I Consume Remove Urchin Spines, considering I really don't have any heavy-hitting spells. I don't consider Crystallis that heavy-hitting. So, it would open up an upgrade being a high roll, so that at Consume Remove becomes a high roll. I have Frenzied Swarm, so that at Holdover is fine. But what about the 25% scenario where I get Permafrost and Double Stack? Well, Double Stack wouldn't be the worst on Frenzied Swarm. It might even be better than a Holdover. That way I can still self-sacrifice a little more often while still getting essentially the same effect of dazing like Divinity, and maybe even dazing Diligent. So I feel, and so we've seen that if we go the Merchant of Magic route, I think it is best to do Sacred Wicks. Giving up resin removal against Diligent, though, is that something I would ever do? Especially when I'm not a spell-based deck. It means I would have to, I'd have to fight him at full health, even if I only do 100 shards. I'm looking at a 4,800 health I have to chunk through. No way I'm scaling up that much. But even with the resin removal, am I doing enough damage? Maybe as I see that, these become more enticing, because then I either stack Daze or I try to stack my own Stealth. If I stack my own Stealth, that would be pretty good with Sacred Wicks. And then what's the other option, is to go this route? Well, none of these would be great Hellvents other than maybe Mortal Entrapment. And I just don't have good Hellvents. I think I see that I don't have good Hellvents, so I'd think, mediocre Hellvent, Hail Mary Cavern, it could be good or bad. But let's think of guarantees. I need to start thinking of guarantees. What's my worst case scenario with Merchant of Magic if I pick Sacred Wicks? Permafrost and either Holdover or Double Stack. So if I got Permafrost, it doesn't really go on anything. If I got Double Stack or Holdover, they go Frenzied Swarm, which is stronger than a Hellvent, I would say. I'd say Holdover Frenzied Swarm or Double Stack Frenzied Swarm is stronger than the Hellvent play, so I think I've come up with a line of logic that I could do, not knowing what comes up, that allows me to get to Merchant of Magic. And I'll be honest, I don't actually remember if the Consume Remove is at this Merchant of Magic or not. I just remember it was at one of them that I visited. So I think all in all, Sacred Wicks is the answer. And I go left here. I get my free removals. I take this. I see this. It doesn't really help me. This, with the Sacred Wicks, could help me, but not really. It would help my draft. And then there's Golden Vault with all this gold. I have to imagine we just take Golden Vault. I mean, that's pretty good. That's what I took the first time around, I guess. Or the first time I got this far, I should say. So we see a double stack. We have all this money. I have to imagine we lock this in. And would I want it held over? Honestly, maybe, because at this point I can deal with waves getting through if I just keep my gold high. So I might not do this yet. I could do this. It's only 25 gold. Because I'll probably keep Crystallis. And I'll leave it open to maybe getting a big upgrade here if I need it for like shards. Because remember, I'm not getting to 100 currently with just that. I do need to take something more. And there we go, Eternal Stones. So we definitely lock that in there. This, we could do this to one of these as a pseudo removal, but... So do we do this? Let's look ahead. Are we hitting any Merchant of Magics up again? Is a Caverns and Boons better than a Herzl's Hoard in health? And is a Merchant of Magic better than a Merchant of Steel? Because what I'm looking for right now... The only thing I'm looking for is Multi-Strike at this point. I don't think I would take Quick. I think given that I have all of this damage mitigation, Quick is just out of the question. I'm losing damage by doing Quick. Large Stone is also not in the question. So really, I'm only, I have that 25% chance to not get what I want with Steel. Is there a 25% chance at Magic to not get what I want? 25%, because I want Holdover, obviously. Whether it goes on Frenzied Swarm or Sacred Wicks, I don't know. Either one would be amazing. Would I want Consume Remove? Probably not. I don't really need it on Urchin Spines. It's not going to do much for me. It's better off just being played at 0 and giving me a 30 damage and then a one-time Spell Weakness help. So... that's out the door. What about Permafrost and Double Stack? So Double Stack is a miss. I would say Permafrost is a miss. At least Double Stack is okay. I think I'd rather just keep the gold for my Golden Vault at that point, though. Like, Permafrost... I also just really don't think Permafrost makes sense on anything I have currently. So right now, we got the 20... Neither shop wins. We want Endless and Multi-Strike. We want Holdover, and that's it. We actually have a better... Steel actually wins right now, I would say. Unless we pick up a spell here that opens up Magic. So right now, Steel's the way to go. There's two options that are great. Merchant only has one option that is great. So it's... I think the left side wins right now. That's what that comes down to. So that also means, since we're not doing that, we're only hitting this up. Would I want this on Holdover when it's essentially a bit redundant with the Wicks? I think we wouldn't, so I think I just take this upgrade now. Holdover priority goes to Sacred Wicks. And I think we just remove the lances. Unless I want to get rid of the stewards. Sacred Wicks getting me better stuff back actually, I think means we want to remove these stewards. And in fact, I'll remove the final steward here with money. I know I have the Golden Vault. How many more Vortex do I plan on hitting? Probably this Vortex unless I have a ton of money. This is a really good side though. and I might hit that vortex. So I may not get another vortex, but I may as well hold the money now. Then again, with the Golden Vault, I may never have money again. That's always a fear. But I don't have any super high priority removals after these stewards gone. Like, I am fine getting back everything that I have currently from Sacred Wicks. So I think we just do this. Yeah, I think we're good. Alright, 1 second. I need to take a quick break. Alright, I'm back. And, alright, so the extra damage. I have to imagine I can handle this extra damage. I have buffer, where the extra damage doesn't matter if they get by to my pyre. I have a double stacked Frenzied Swarm. I have 2 molten casements, and I have a Sacred Wicks. And I have chunk blockers. I think we can do this. That extra gold represents extra health for me, so I think it's pretty enticing. We want to give ourselves the max amount of time possible here. Let's see what this draws. Okay. I think I want... Do I even want to play Tethys? If I kept my reef... What about also just keeping my pool clear? If I do that, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... I can keep Molten Encasement and 1 other card in there. I've already committed to playing Draft at this point. That's probably not the best one that I would have chosen, but it is, I guess, just what we have. That's actually fine, because it scales up. This might be fine. So what if I just have Draft and Molten Encasement in there? At that point, I think I have exactly what I want. It's just, am I going to cycle into Sacred Wicks enough? Because I can burn that. Then I have 1, 2, 3. I'm not counting that because it'll just cycle itself. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 cards. At 5 cards drawn a turn. Why do I only have 1 offering token? Oh, because I already played 1. Okay, so those also are cards. So 13 cards. Roughly every 3 turns, a little bit more frequently than every 3 turns, I can find Sacred Wicks. I don't know that that's enough to justify keeping the pool clean. I would rather just get all these cards gone and then play it more often. I think that's maybe more the call. So that, if that's the case, we should just have that die. Alright, you're gonna go here. You'll just go here. Unfortunately, I really need all these harvests, so I can't do this. We can do that. And this doesn't really matter. I can just put this into the pool. That's fine. I can have this here, just to kill that. And we don't play that. There's the Sacred Wicks. We should play that. So let's play that. That's good. We want to play these. Where do we want to play them, though? I can do that. 8. This gives me an extra 30. His big damage doesn't matter. I have gold to buffer that. Like, I could put him there. I miss out on the harvests, but I could Frenzy Swarm this and I save myself a little bit. I think that's fine. I don't want to throw these in there, though, because I can't take those harvests. Yeah, this helps. This is fine. We lose a little bit of gold, it's fine. We're also inclined really not to make any purchases that aren't directly just helping us. Okay, we throw that away. It's still more harvests that I don't necessarily want to throw away. 25, 25. I think we just don't play those. Like, I want the both of those harvests. I think I need every little bit that I can get. Okay, we do this. I think at this point, maybe I do try to keep the pool more closer to this encasement. Do I? Or do I just get extra stats? I can get extra stats. I think this is fine. We just don't want to play those. Let's do this. Maybe I can somehow stack days. If I can't stack stealth, I can stack dazed. Alright, we're lucking out here. This is good. This is great because we get a harvest. Yeah, we should cycle here. Still try to get to that frenzied swarm. We get to it. Okay. It's a really unfortunate set of, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess I just hope we have enough gold. I don't think we do. We'll stack a little bit of frostbite. This is where we start to see problems for him. And this boss is no joke. I'm only at 65 shards too. Well, I'm reloading because I need to know that this is doable. Alright, let's think about stealth stacking. I say we go to stealth stacking. Let's do this. We don't care about Ember Drain. I'll just deal with only being able to draw those so often, but if I keep only those in the pool, I think that we're fine. Let's do that. Okay, we keep you in the pool. I need all these harvests. This guy just gets through, is the thing, so... Okay, wait, there's that. I say we do this. This is great. And... they're gonna burn out anyway, so why don't we just stack that? Okay, we're drawing this a really good amount. Okay, we gotta play that. We gotta keep drawing through, but we're not gonna convolute the pool. That is a problem. I don't think we want to do that. We got a good amount of stealth. Gotta hope for Wicks. We got it. Didn't even need it actually, so that was the call then. So that was a micro error, not a macro error. That has made my game plan pretty clear. I need to remove more units then. And I need to not add anything else. Wicked Blaze could be an okay ad. Subsuming Blade could be an okay ad. Just keep in mind, there is a certain point here where I need to self-sacrifice. Now I could make this is where I could put a Entombed Explosive into one of them. I think I still like the idea of having two of them so I get to them sooner. Wicked Blaze might be good though. I think I like Wicked Blaze. It opens up things. I don't know, Blade's pretty good too. Sure would be nice to be able to self-sacrifice. Is Blaze better though? I could scale out draft that way. I think we do that. So, holdover is still the only thing that's good here. Permafrost becomes a little bit better because permafrost on Wicked Blaze would be fine. Also an Ember reduction, so we gain a little bit of enticement toward magic. We also now don't really care about Endless on these. So really it's just multi-strike we're looking for here, though Endless is still welcome. I think they're almost even now, so is Horde better than Artifact? Or better than Caverns? Also, this gold represents probably the same amount of health that this does, roughly. That's 3 hits. Pretty big hits at this point. It's another thing, I might be inclined just to get gold, given that I have Golden Vault. Merchant of Steel. Herzl's Horde. I think this is the route we want though, like, I don't know though, I feel like in the back of my mind I kind of knew that this was coming up, so it's like, I don't know. I feel like every time I've gone that route though, so I just see myself making that move. I still don't think we want these. I don't even know if I want an initial burnout on these. Only if I'm finding Endless. So we gotta think, at a certain point, we are going this route or what? I don't think we're going that route. I think Hellvents look pretty good to me at this point. So like I should lock in, would I want more health on one of these, or would I just want more, like a plus 10 damage if I could get it? I feel like I have enough health. The damage, I don't want quick. I think I still stand by that. Large stone, we don't want that. Well, this was kind of a miss, which is fine. I think it shows that I got the exact 25% low roll that I was looking at. It just tends to happen. I think we lock in the 10 damage on one of them because we're probably hitting this maybe up. I don't know. But we don't purge. We need that gold. So we have options here. I think it's in our interest to do this. I say we do this. And we don't do anything else, I don't think. Yeah, call that good. Now, obviously, in hindsight, I would have rather gone this route. Could have got a good Caverns, maybe gotten some good spell upgrades. Like Holdover would have been great, obviously, but we could just, as easily as we didn't find the 2 that we wanted, we're even less likely to find the 1 that we want, right? So I think we keep the pool clean, even though we have Wicked Blaze. I don't know, do we? I think I get 2 free harvests here. I'm kind of enticed to do that. Well, we'll find out. In the last fight, it made sense to not do it that way. I guess we'll find out. I could always just get them out of the pool and then, you know, keep them that way. So I think I want this in the pool. This one actually has more damage, so we should put that one back there. I think we want do we want these to hit? I don't know that we do. And I don't know that we want all these dregs in, especially since they'll steal kills. Let's not do it. Alright, we definitely do that. Okay, let's get that into the pool. Now we start maybe trying to thin the pool back out. That's 25 gold there. Alright, this should be really good. Yeah, we gotta do that. Look how much damage was coming in there. It's fucking wild. I don't know that I want to do that. Is that fine? I guess so. Yeah, I think we keep everything clean from here on out. We really want that particular unit to come back. This next group here is going to be a nightmare. Alright, we get that here. It's a bit redundant with this. No, we can get it back this way. This probably gives us the most damage there. It's probably worth it. And I think we keep that out of the pool. Losing money. I'm also not getting as much from Memorial Fund by keeping the pool like clean, but I still think it's in our best interest to do this. It's weird though. That we want that to die, so we won't play the Frenzied Swarm. We've somehow really not stacked up much stealth though. It's not the greatest. Okay, Wix is not there, so we do want to keep drawing. Scaling is definitely not that good, is it? Alright, I still think we put this ahead of them. It's not, when you factor in the frostbite, it's not doing as much damage. Okay, that kills that. Why don't we do this? Damn. So, let's see. I mean, there's no way I'm going to survive that. I gotta say, this route much harder than, obviously, the burnout route. I gotta say, I appreciate the other folks though, like suffering through this with me. I see names popping up here and there. It's a nightmare. So before we put them in, let's try not putting them in. Let's try keeping the pool even more clean this time. Stack more stuff. Even this we won't do. There. Well, I guess it could have been fine to do it there, but whatever. Let's do this, that. We're just gonna have to take that hit. So far, it's not looking better, but we'll see. Is this gonna be good? I don't know. I may be inclined to take a draw upgrade here. Assuming I can even get by this fight, right? So right now it's not looking that likely. Well, we can put one in here, try to get at least some help. Otherwise we're just gonna die right here. A turn like this, it's fine. We actually are inclined to bring him back with Wicks so he gets the damage. Let's do... I still want to stack both of this here. He's gonna hit us. I guess we keep the pool clean? I don't know. I just have too many cards to cycle through when I do this. I think I got lucky last fight. I was somehow hitting Sacred Wicks just a ton. They'll die there. Maybe there's some world I can stack Dazed here. I don't know. Okay. Sacred Wicks is coming up. If I'm gonna survive this, which I should have 25, so I block one. This was like way worse than last time. Yeah, okay. Well, that doesn't work. We'll give it one more shot here, but it's possible this just wasn't the right way. I will say the logic on that last ring to go Merchant of Steel was potentially off. If I had gone Merchant of Magic and gotten Holdover, also I could have took, instead of Wicked Blaze, which Wicked Blaze really isn't helping me that much, I could have had Subsiding Blade. Maybe that would have been better. So this time we're gonna go like this. We're gonna go like that. We're gonna go like that. We're gonna go like this and that. And I'll put one of them in. That way I don't get the kill. That works for me. And we want this... It doesn't matter if this dies or not, because they're both burning out, and I'll just rather get more damage in so that I can kill that thing quicker. Alright, we want that, well, we want that, and then that. I want as many of these as possible. How are you not dying? Well, we'll do this just to do it. I'm gonna lose Slays here, which kind of makes me not want to do this. I guess I won't. It's a double-edged sword, this whole exploding candle, when you really need all the scaling you can get. I'm gonna do that then. This is fine. We can throw that here. We can throw the both of them here. Try to soften this up a little. Well, this is not good. We could do this. Get some extra damage that way. We could take the both there. That's fine. We don't want that to not die. We don't want them to not die, so... I don't even think we play these. We want shit to die. want those to die. We want the harvests. Alright. It's the first time I even had that, you know, coming back around. Well, let's get an extra harvest there. I think we want these harvests versus stunning a guy that's coming into a fight that... Alright. Well, this was all... The first one we had was better. Well, at this point, I think it's safe to say even if there's a way to win in a no-reload situation, it'd be too hard to find. So we'll call that good. I just wanted to see how viable that line was. It was not really that viable. Without that one is too pigeonholed into needing Frenzy Stone, I think. Without Frenzy Stone, you just can't scale fast enough to take on stuff. Even if I had less shards, I don't know that I'm beating that boss. So far, I think at least I explored a lot of avenues there, a lot of lines of logic. I think I'm onto something here with the try to get guaranteed value routes, but I did probably make the wrong call going into that last ring. I don't know though that, like, let's say I take a subsuming blade, let's say I find holdover on Sacred Wicks. I don't even know if that's enough for this build to make it through that fell fight. So far, the only route I see working was the burnout route. I know there's got to be another route that works. I'll probably just keep exploring this. It's not really beneficial for me to keep doing other random runs. Like, I have a lot of combos down pretty solidly, but Stygian and Dregs is... The combo in particular is abysmal for me, but even beyond that, I'm really bad with Stygian in the Divinity. So anything I can do to figure general Stygian stuff out, and I'm really bad with the Dregs variant of Melting Remnant. So anything I can do to figure out what makes that work. I feel like up until this last couple fights, I was using the Dregs pretty well. Like, using them as a pretty good resource, and they were actually pretty, like, good. And then I pivoted to something that... Well, I don't know. I think they still fall off, right? Like, at a certain point, I need something that hyperscales better than that. Well, we'll see. We'll keep hammering it.